my demonstration of Veeam backup and replication. In this video, I'll be showing you how to set up and use Veeam to back up virtual machines, restore data, and replicate VMs for disaster recovery. I'm going to walk through key features and demonstrate successful backup and restores. So this is the Veeam backup and replication console. This is where kind of everything happens. On the left side, I'm in the Home tab right now. On the left side of the Home tab, you can see where we can create backup jobs. If we go to backup, we can create replication jobs and other backup operations. Below the Home tab is a tab called Inventory. It shows all the managed servers and virtual machines that Veeam know about. So here you can see both of my ESXi servers. Here's my first ESXi server. You can see both of my Windows client and my Windows Server DC. The next tab is the backup infrastructure, where you configure where backups are stored and which servers handles which backup process. You can also see our backup repositories where our backups are stored. And then the history tab kind of shows a log of every backup job that is run and when it ran and whether it succeeded or failed. You can kind of see every job here: backups, replications, guest file restores, application item restores, everything. Now let's look at the backup job. This job backs up 2 virtual machines, the Windows Server domain controller and the Windows 10 client machine. This job is configured to run daily at 12 p.m. When a backup runs, Veeam kind of takes a snapshot of the VM and copies all of the data to store on the backup storage. In this case, it's set to be on the F drive. Now, if we look at the job history, we can see that I ran this job 2 times manually just to test it, and then it actually did run on its own at 12 p.m. like it was supposed to. You can also see that these all ran successfully without any errors. One of Veeam's powerful features is the ability to restore individual files without restoring the entire VM itself. This is called file level restoration, and it's incredibly useful when someone accidentally deletes an important document or like folder of photos. To get to that, we just need to go to restore from backup, guest files restore, and then choose which backup we want to get our restoration from. And then I'm going to select our domain controller and then select which backup to use. And we don't need to give a reason. And then you can browse. It'll open up this little console menu, and you can actually go into your drive and select which folder or file you want to restore. Then you can select where you want to restore these files to, or if you want to overwrite or keep them. I'm going to do overwrite, and I'm going to select here. And just so we can verify that this works, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this permanently. To select which directory we want to store the restore in. I'm just going to choose to store it in the C drive where it was originally. And then we get the completed message. If we navigate over to our domain controller and open our file explorer, we can see that it is indeed back on our C drive and all of its contents are there. Now, we did the whole folder, but if you just lost one file, you can go in from your backup and just pick that one file and restore only that single file. Now, beyond just file level restorations, Veeam can also restore Active Directory objects. That means like users, groups, and other directory items. So as you can see, I've created 2 test groups and 2 test users. For demonstration purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and delete all of these. As you can see, they've all been deleted. Now, going back to our Veeam server and opening our Veeam backup and replication console, we can actually back these up by going to restore, VMware vSphere, restore from backup, and then we can go application items restore. And here we can see it has Microsoft Active Directory. Here we can pick our job we want to use restore from. And then we can select which machine. It's going to open a new application. Here we can see our Active Directory. We can navigate to Users and Computers, Users. And we can see these test users and test groups that we had just deleted. I went ahead and selected all of the ones I would like to restore. And I'm going to click Restore Objects and restore objects to Voyager.local. Oops. There we go. And we can see that it was successful and 4 objects were restored. We can navigate back to our domain controller and right-click here and actually just hit refresh. And here we go. There's all of our test groups and users. Now let's move on to replication and disaster recovery. Replication is different from backup. Instead of just storing snapshots for recovery, replication creates a live copy of your VM on another host. In a replication scenario, changes to the production VM are continuously synced to a replica VM on a different physical host. So if the production host fails, you can instantly switch over to the replica with minimal downtime. So I've set up a replication of my Windows 10 client from my ESXi01 host to my ESXi02. And I'm going to show you the configuration in Veeam. So I have my Windows 10 client selected in the virtual machines section. And then I have the destination set to my ESXi02. I have it set to my backup repository on my F drive. So I've set the replication to run at 4 a.m. because that's typically not a time where people are on their computers, at least shouldn't be. And this ensures that the replications are up to date and aren't put back a few days, because if it's run manually, people can forget, and if something goes wrong, you won't have all of your new updated files restored. So let's say something super bad happened to this VM and we cannot use it anymore, and it is no longer on our ESXi01. That's totally fine, because on our ESXi02, we have our replica right here that we can just power on. And here we are. I'm back where I needed to be, and all of my files are here where I need them to be. My family photos are here. We're all good. So to kind of recap everything, Veeam Backup and Replication provides 3 essential capabilities for protecting your virtual infrastructure. The first is backup and recovery. I showed how to back up VMs on a regular schedule and restore them at file level or full VM level. The backup job history proves that these backups are running reliably every day. The second is restoration. Whether it's individual files or Active Directory objects, Veeam lets you recover exactly what you need without affecting the rest of the system. The third is replication and disaster recovery. By replicating critical VMs to a secondary host, if something happens to your primary infrastructure, you can fail over to the replica in moments. Veeam makes enterprise-grade backup and disaster recovery accessible and manageable. It's a comprehensive solution that protects your virtual machines against data loss, accidental deletion, and infrastructure failure.